Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank all of the very distinguished witnesses for your presence here today. Question for Mrs. Hardaway. Have you ever publicly expressed an opinion about the presidency of Barack Obama?
No, because I wasn't into politics or anything like that. So when you say, wait a minute, hold on, when you say public, well, not when he was in office. Let me back up. If I had something to say, it was during the election, right, when they were running.
And what was that opinion?
That I didn't think he was a good president. He didn't do anything for the black community. Look at the people from Chicago, and he was from Chicago. So I had a very vocal opinion. But while he was in office, like before the election, I didn't publicly say anything because I just wasn't into it until Donald Trump came along.
Now, are you familiar with a governmental entity called the Federal Election Commission?
The FEC, I am.
And are you aware that presidential campaigns are required to submit what's called campaign finance disclosure reports with the FEC?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And those FEC disclosure reports detail contributions made to the Trump campaign. Are you aware of that fact?
It could be. I mean, okay.
And the FEC reports also publicly disclose what's called expenditures or disbursements made by the Trump campaign. Are you aware of that fact?
Well, yeah. I keep hearing it. I heard somebody put out a news article that was out there, but...
Okay. Let me enter into the record, Mr. Chairman. I ask unanimous consent for what's called the post-general election FEC report filed by the Trump campaign on May 12th, 2017.
Yes.
Can he tell me how much the
Mr.
amount
Gomer?
was? Okay.
Without objection. Yep.
Thank you very much. Now, Ms. Hardaway, I think you stated on the record today at least 3 times, quote, "We were not paid by the Trump campaign." Is that correct?
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, are you aware that your testimony today is under oath subject to the penalty of perjury?
Yes, we are aware of that.
Okay. Now, the FEC report dated May 12, 2017 states that on November 22nd, 2016, the campaign of Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated paid Diamond and Silk $1,274.94 for field consulting. Are you familiar with that?
We're familiar with that particular lie. We can see that you do look at fake news. What happened is, and what should have happened is, you should have come to our mouths to see what exactly happened before a false narrative was put out there about the $1,274.94. So let me explain right now to you and the world.
Hold on one second, because I want to give you the opportunity to explain, which is why I'm asking the question.
Right.
I'm actually trying to figure out, are you calling this FEC document fake? Well, actually, let me get some clarity.
No, we're not calling that fake.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond.
Okay.
I'm just really I'm struggling. I'm really just trying to figure out, right? Because you have an FEC document that clearly indicates that the two of you were paid for field consulting by the Trump campaign. That's just one document. There may be others that are out here. And presumably, this was a document filed with genuineness and authenticity by the campaign of the president that you so love. And so I'm just trying to figure out,
we understand that this was
is lying here? Is it the Trump campaign, or is someone not telling the truth?
Nobody is lying. However, there may have been a mistake from the Trump campaign whenever they wrote what the $1,274.94 was for. Actually, this was for because we was asked to join the Women for Trump tour back in 2016. And Miss Laura Trump asked that our airline tickets be refunded back to us because we paid for those tickets when we went from New York to Ohio. I have the email right here which substantiate what happened on September the 11th whenever Laura Trump wrote to Allen to tell them to reimburse us So that $1,274.
I appreciate that explanation. So now let me just ask you one final question.
No, it was for a reimbursement.
I understand.
That's right, not field consulting.
I understand.
We've never been paid by the Trump campaign.
I appreciate that, and I'm just trying to figure out whether, consistent with what the president indicated, he urged you to monetize your support for him. And I'm just trying to figure out.
He urged us to monetize our platform, and there's nothing wrong with that. As an African American, you're not going to make us feel guilty because we're going to get out here and we're going to take advantage of these platforms and monetize, just like everybody else do. I don't see you walking up to a white person and saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be monetizing that." So why are you, as an African American, making it?
The gentleman's time has expired.
With us monetizing our platform.
I respect your game. I really do.
Gentleman's time has
I'm just trying to get an
It's not a game.
understanding of whether funds.
The gentleman's time
change
has
or not.
expired. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. First, I want to thank Chairman Goodlatte for calling this hearing and also being open to listening to all of the witnesses' testimony here before the committee today on this very important issue that we must get right. The rights we hold as Americans should be upheld, whether we're speaking words in an open forum, writing words in a book, or typing words online. So we have to uphold our First Amendment and its protections in all aspects of our society. While I did not get the opportunity to ask my colleague, Marsha Blackburn, a question, I'm very glad that my friend and colleague had the opportunity to come before our committee today and discuss her own personal experience as well as her work here in Congress to be an advocate for an open and fair internet. As Representative Blackburn explained, she had her pro-life message about fighting the disgusting practice of the sale of baby body parts stricken from Twitter because it was deemed inflammatory and would cause a negative response. It's appalling to see that the very unborn children who cannot yet speak for themselves and has an advocate fighting for them to only be erased by others. I'm proud to be unapologetically pro-life, and I strongly believe that our online platforms must be neutral public forums, which would allow us to continue to speak out for the unborn. I'm glad that all of you are here today and have had the chance to express your own unique circumstances with content uploaded on various online platforms. Your perspective is extremely valuable to this very important conversation. I'd like to direct my question to Mr. Chavern. Did I say that correctly? Today, I've had and I apologize, there's a lot of hearings going on right now, so you've seen members come and go. But I had the opportunity to hear firsthand from Michael Galvin and Bro Croft, the president and editor, respectively, of my hometown paper in Montgomery, Alabama, the Montgomery Advertiser. And as members of the News Media Alliance, they have shared with me some of the concerns that you expressed in your testimony today, and I'd like to ask you to use the remainder of my time to expand upon how apps and tech platforms are impacting local and regional journalism. With that said, before I turn it over to you to finish out my time, I just think that this is a very important conversation again, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. I hope that this is the beginning of more conversations, as we have seen across many different platforms as technology continues to progress. It's important that Congress is listening and taking note. And so I'll leave you the rest of my time to expand upon your testimony, but although the chairman's not here, he knows that I hope that we will continue to have more conversations along these lines. And again, I thank you each for being here with us today.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you. Fundamentally, as the communications and media world is progressing, Google and Facebook are the primary distribution mechanisms for news online. That's how people get their news. And but the rules under which Google and Facebook manage their content emphasize low-quality news options and make it very difficult for people who are actually in the business of journalism and paying journalists and doing real reporting from making that a sustainable business. And if present trends continue, you have these huge incentives for really low-quality, bad information online that pushes out actually verified quality journalism. And that's not just bad for our business, right? That is extremely bad for our civil society. We'll get to a place, people's curiosity about the world, what's happening in their communities, will always be there. The question is, what will satisfy it? Will actually professional journalism satisfy it, or will it be free garbage that feeds inherent need for people to feel passionate and angry about something?
So setting a good example, my time is about to expire, but again, I look forward to continuing this conversation down the road. And again, I appreciate you all being here today.
Thank you.
I now recognize Mr. Liu for...